All right, hello everyone from the American Rail Club. Guess who I'm sitting next to here?
Hey, it's me, it's Ruben.
All right, so he's come all across the pond to come over here to check out what we have here in America. It's the first time you've been here in America, right?
Oh yeah, it's the first time I've been in America.
Yeah,
also first time alone on the plane, so it was quite an experience, but it's 3 great weeks here in America.
This is the first time you've been on the plane?
Alone on the plane.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
wow, okay, so it's a pretty big experience, that flight and everything, wow. Okay, so what'd you think?
I gotta say, great country, great people, great food, very fattening food, but it's great food. I had a bit of a chance to discover Amtrak, took the train to Milwaukee, also used Metro, used the tram in Milwaukee itself, also the Circle streetcars in Kenosha, so it's not a bit of a transit in America.
Yeah, so you've gone all over up the upper part of the Midwest. We've driven all the way up from Indiana to go see him, so this is again, since he's come all the way over here and he came through during the whole polar vortex, I said, you know what, it's worth it to just come up for the 5 hours to go see him. Yeah, so there we go. All right, so you went so you came here to Chicago, right? Mm-hmm. And you went on Metro. What was that? How was that like?
Well, took Metro from the Yellow Line. It was a good experience. It was cold that day. Metro ran on time, no delays whatsoever.
Okay, that's good.
Train pulled in the station, never got on, immediately gone. Great comfort.
Right.
Very cheap too. Very doable price, $9.
Okay.
So that's very cheap.
All right.
Arrived in Ogilvie Station, right in downtown Chicago. Walked around. Take the train back. Great service. Good service from Metro.
All right. And since you're from Belgium, and from just reminding the viewers over here, and you've been, I guess, all around Europe when it comes to the train systems that they have, and this, since they've been in advance of us for years now. Mm-hmm. Comparing what you've been here in the United States, going throughout the Midwest, going on Amtrak, going on different trams throughout different cities. I know you've been on Milwaukee on the hop, right?
Yeah.
So, what was all that like in comparison, and where is it that we're falling behind on that you think that we can get up?
Well, the first things that you guys are behind is speed and service.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, that's speed. Speed is the biggest issue. When taking Metro, you have suburban trains going to a very busy area, but one train every hour, that's not sufficient.
Yeah.
I mean, at least need half an hour service trains. So then Amtrak. Seats were comfortable, but the tracks were in horrible shape. And the train cars were a bit outdated.
Okay.
I was on the Horizon coaches, but you could see they were from the 80s and still stuck in the 80s.
Yeah,
so.
and that's the thing. They're starting to get those coaches redone, the Viewliners and whatnot. So, hopefully at some point, it looks nicer. But, the big thing, again, you mentioned the tracks, and I'm sure you understand that a lot of the tracks here are owned by the freight railroad companies. Absolutely. And they're only leased to Amtrak for usage. So do you see something where, especially for companies like Florida East Coast, where now they're running their own passenger train service on there, do you see maybe with that sort of model being used more in the United States?
I think that's a model for the United States of America. That's a very good model. You have freight companies and passenger railroad companies working together. The tracks are better, so you have faster freight trains. You have more reliable service. Because of the stations, being transit-oriented development, you have a steady cash flow, and one supports the other. So that's a model that the United States of America should adopt more. I think that's actually a very feasible model. One route that it definitely worked really well in is Milwaukee to Chicago. Yeah. You have 2 big centers, or Chicago, Indiana. These are the routes that would just rake in the cash. And railroad companies could profit from that too, especially the freight, because you have very fast freight trains, and you could up the amount of freight trains a day.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Once the trackage is upgraded to allow that, I mean, the possibilities are endless with that, and that's what we've been talking about. The Midwest High-Speed Rail Association, they said the same thing. That's not just for passenger rail, but it's also for freight rail too, and even over for the Northwest, for the South, for East, West, all over the United States.
Yeah, I mean, it's basic economics.
Yeah.
If you have a freight train running at 50 miles an hour, you can have a freight train running at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You have shorter time. Which means more money, because time is money. And with the amount taken for one train, you could run 2 trains. So double amount of freight is being transported, which is also good for the local economy, because small companies next to railroad lines could have their products faster arranged around other companies, so more employment there too.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so also wanted to ask, because this has been in the news now, the Green New Deal. that's been, I mean, it's interesting to see. I mean, realistically, what do you think about that?
I think what I see is that people want to make America better again, make America great again, make America greater. Let's say every American politician wants to make America greater. That's the goal of everyone.
We still got to get our caps going. Make American railroads great again.
Oh, yeah.
That's gonna be.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, if you
maybe sometime this week we're gonna do that. Yeah.
If you live in Belgium, I buy immediately.
Oh yeah. So those you can buy legally now, because I'm going to see them getting with the company that's made in the USA. So I'm like, okay, there we go. We can send them over. It's like I know with the thing with the Trump caps, they're hard to get over because it's a campaign donation, so you can't get them like over anywhere else. So this is the closest thing if you want it.
Well, back to the Green New Deal.
Yeah.
I'd say more high-speed rail. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Then it's going to be all state-paid. I don't think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Because well, it's a very expensive project, and I'm afraid we're going to have a California high-speed rail project all over the USA, all having the same issues with a lot of money being used and not that much progress being made.
I think that's the main problem. I think is really in the allocation of money, because we are spending a lot in transportation. I mean, every year we're spending close to about 150 billion for roads, and the road conditions are still enormously horrifying.
Oh yeah, I've noticed that too.
Yeah, you've gone through the Midwest. Like the roads over here,
yeah. I mean, I was on one road and thought, oh, there's a really old road from the 80s, and told me the road was built in 2000. I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, that's the problem. I think really the misallocation of funds, where those funds are going, and even seeing remember that video that we did about going into why the cost of American railroads are so expensive. Is that labor cost, number one, is extremely high because of union costs. The rest of that is based on frivolous stuff that you can't even get to go ahead and see if there's any oversight on it.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Well, with the term of the Green New Deal, if they really want to do it, if they could find a compromise, a possible compromise could be public-private corporation.
Yeah, because the way the Senate is, and right now, it's never going to pass.
It's going to be a deadlock.
Yeah.
And then you have a certain president who wants to build a wall on a certain border. So it's going to be difficult.
I still would have wished he would have had the maglev on the wall. I mean, I'm kind of disappointed about that. But
yeah, well, then you get Secretary of Transportation with it too. So
see, you're done there. Get everything. Get everybody happy.
Yeah. But the Green New Deal, it has some good ideas, like better transportation, more energy independence, green energy, having solar energy, having wind energy, like makes a consumer more, less independent on other consumers.
Exactly.
Like if you have your own solar panel, let's say you live in Florida, you have a hurricane passing by, electricity is shut down, but if you have your own solar panel, you get up and just
exactly. It's about having those other options there, just to have it as a backup. Because when I was driving over, from Indiana over here, there was a whole wind farm that we saw there. I'm like, that's interesting and whatnot, but of course, there's other ways of electricity. I mean, we have solar, we have nuclear, which people keep demonizing, which it's just having the safety precautions there. For nuclear, I mean France. You're right next to France. The whole country is basically all nuclear power.
Yeah. Well, now in Belgium, I know for the European viewers or people who are well informed, we have a protest in Belgium now. High school kids like we skip class and we go protest for a more green future. Belgium wants to make a transition, but we're not going to make it alone on solar or wind. We're going to need nuclear.
Right.
But it's better to have small towns and people who want to live on their own have their own energy sources.
Exactly.
And then you have the bigger cities who could use nuclear, big companies could use nuclear. It needs to be a hybrid.
Yeah.
And that's especially with actually entire idea of the Green New Deal. It needs to be a compromise between some other ideas, but if AOC could change it, and there could be more, realistic propositions in it.
Yeah. I was trying to find those FAQs, and she took them out. I'm like, I want to know more about it. What's going on?
But I think there's a good idea, and now Democrats and Republicans need to find each other, make compromises, and get America back moving again.
Yeah, and I think there is a way, especially with President Trump's former plan on the $1.5 trillion deal for transportation, which is mostly private base, which we have seen now certain projects coming up, and we have seen support for Texas Central High-Speed Rail, which is hopefully going to get moving forward. We have seen Brightline. We've seen Brightline, you know, now Virgin Trains USA, and expanding out.
Well, Virgin Trains are going to do their IPO already, did they?
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, I think it's either this month or next month that they're starting the IPO.
I mean, if a company says we want to go to the stock market, that means they're quite sure about their idea, what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And I would now a bit of insider trade information. Buy stock now, but when they're going to build to Orlando, that's when the stock is going to go high.
Yeah.
So get your money now.
Yeah, especially before it goes to Orlando. That's when it's going to go. Yep.
That's going to be the cash maker.
Yeah, because I know people saying like, oh, it's going to fail before then. It's like. They know what they have enough cash strapped to there, or they're going to keep going into the red until they get Orlando going. Because the minute Orlando starts to go, it's just going to go right back up.
Well, that's why Brightline is now building the buildings, the houses, to get income from there.
The real estate.
To get over the most difficult part, being just short line there now. But when they're going to go to Orlando, you're going to get tourists, you're going to get business people, you're going to see South Florida more connected to each other, and that's going to make a lot of cash, especially when people are going to discover like, hey, this freeway isn't that free as this, you better take the train.
So it's the most oxymoronic word that you've seen, the freeway. I'm not free on the freeway, I'm stuck on the freeway.
The freeway is eternal.
Yeah, not only that, I'm not paying for the freeway is not free. It's like someone's paying for the freeway, that's all us. I mean, that's the thing that people don't get is, oh, who's going to pay for the train? It's like, you already pay for the highways, whether you like it or not. You don't pay your taxes, the IRS is going to come at you with guns. Trains, you can pay not to do it, especially like Brightline and any privately run line. So I mean, so Ruben, where do you see the U.S. in 10 years from now?
Where do I see the U.S. in 10 years from now?
Yeah.
Well, I see high-speed road projects being opened up. I suspect that California one port is going to be opened up, hopefully. I'm not too sure about that.
Because they just delayed it again.
Yeah. Brightline is gonna raking a lot of cash. Orlando's gonna be connected, and you're gonna probably think about expanding to Tampa, or already busy expanding to Tampa. Also, the branch to Jacksonville could be possible then.
Yeah.
Amtrak, I suspect they're gonna invest more in the East Coast Main Line. They're gonna get better service there.
Okay.
Amtrak Midwest, they're having the chargers now. They're ordering new rolling stock, so the service is gonna get better there.
Right.
Texas Central Railroad is going to be building or already in service then, and that's also going to be a huge play for other states and other companies to see that way we can make a lot of money in here. Then you have Texas Rail. Look at how Fort Worth is going right now. They're already at the brink of their max capacity. They're going to expand that too. So
it's like people saying, "Oh no, the trains are going to be empty." It's like you see it all over the place, even here in the U.S. People want another option.
That's what many people said to me. If it's there, we're going to ride it. Because the car is a very simple thing. The car is a solution to the lack of a supply.
Exactly. Simple economics, right there. Yeah. And people say like, oh, if you build it, they won't come and whatnot. It's like, no, people want it there. That's the whole point of it. It's not if you build it, they will come. It's like they want to come. It's now build it.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing.
I mean, also the streetcar revival is gonna continue. It's going.
That's been surprising. Especially in the last 2 years, how many streetcar projects have opened across the U.S. That's just crazy.
Yeah, remember Detroit, the city that motor town. It's all about cars. Yeah, that's a streetcar running. Yeah, that's a big thing. That if the town known for the cars has a streetcar, that's a sign of a revival. Yeah,
hopefully it'll be good. Once people start to repopulate Detroit and the city starts to clean up again, that will definitely be an opportunity for that.
Oh well, that's also what I see in the 10-year expectancy that Detroit's gonna grow again. I mean, Ford has the 7th train station. They bought it. They want to make it an office. So the fact that companies want to invest in Detroit now, land is cheap. You have a lot to build and transportation is getting better. Detroit will get up again. That's just it's not a matter of will, but it's a matter of when, and when it's going to be 10 years. All
right. Well, guys, now you heard it from Hicast. Hopefully, this is, again, this is going to happen, hopefully. So America is coming back. Even the Europeans think so, too. So tell us all what you think in the comments below. We'll go ahead and answer your questions. Either me or Ruben will also answer your questions. And tell us what you think about it and what your thoughts. Again, we look at every comment. I try to answer as many as possible, and Ruben will be joining in as well.
My best, dude.
Yep. And don't forget to subscribe to the American Rail Club. We're almost there to 10,000 subscribers. We're getting there.
It's really close right now.
Yeah,
it's a race.
We're getting there. Yeah. We're getting there, and you know, again, this is the biggest club right now for railroad advocacy in the United States, and probably the world.
Oh yeah,
there's no one else in the world.
It's growing
that does
really
this.
fast. Yeah. I mean, you have Wendover Productions, but then you have us, and we're growing fast.
Yeah, but Wendover Productions is more of, you know, this is the interesting thing I learned today that's vaguely related to transportation or something. Or something.
Yeah. So biggest train club right here, American Rail Club.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be the next step. You know, get to 1 million subscribers. We'll do that.
That's for sure.
All right. I never know of a collaboration with Wendover if that's in there. All right. Oh, everyone, thank you for tuning in and everything. Again, subscribe, comment, and share it. You're on board the American Rail Club. See you all next time.